This is gonna be a tutorial on Spyro Year of the Dragon any percent. And the first thing I actually want you guys to look at is these rules for submission. So timing starts when first movement is possible, and timing ends on the first frame of the health bar movement for the final damage to the Sorceress. Basically meaning as soon as the health bar is gone and she doesn't have any more health left. FDS can cause crashes on certain cutscene and loading scenes. Opening/closing the disk tray to fix these crashes are allowed. Now, this game does have different versions of the game, and some of them are faster than others. The current fastest version that there is PSTV FDS, and then you can just go down the list and check what version you got. There are 3 different versions of this game. There's NTSC 1.0 and NTSC 1.1, and there's also PAL. Now, NTSC 1.0 is the fastest version, and this is known as black labeled. If you have a disc and if you look at it, the label at the bottom will be black. It will not be the greatest hit version, which is the 1.1 version. Now, on PAL, all the versions are the same, and also 1.1. If you're using any official downloadable version from the PlayStation Store, it will be 1.0. Alright, so our first time save actually is already off the start menu right here. We could use a memory card, but using a memory card for some reason loses time. The reason why it loses time is because saving means that the console has to slow down for like a little bit to, save the game onto the memory. So we don't want to use a memory card, we just want to go straight into a new game. No memory card, doesn't matter if you're on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation TV, whatever. Don't use a memory card. It's slow, it wastes time, and it's completely useless actually. So we can also go into something right here, skipping cutscenes in general. There's 2 things you can do. You can either press X, or you can press start, skip cutscenes. Now what I do is I alternate between spamming both of them. So I get like the first frame where it's possible to skip the cutscene, I want to get that to like this. Alright, so first thing I'll go into is we will be charging a lot, and there's actually some different things with charging I want to explain. One of them is it's not instantaneously getting up to full speed. As you can see, his animation winds up for a bit before he actually gets to full speed. It's like half a second or something, but then he's at full speed. But he can do this, not at full speed immediately. He doesn't go into the full charge animation. So charging is not instantaneously. It does take like half a second before he's at full speed. And there's also another thing. You might be noticing I use the analog stick quite a lot. Now, if you want to be optimal, then you use the D-pad. Because as you can see, I can do quite sharp turns like this. On analog, if I do it, it'll look like this. Really not as sharp compared to this. It's easy to see when I'm jumping, because I can basically jump like this compared to this. It's really wide. So use D-pad if you can, learn D-pad. If you don't want to use D-pad, you can also use analog, but there's certain tricks where you actually do want to use the D-pad, so just have that in mind. Another thing we actually want to take a look at is jump height. Spyro got different jump heights, and one of them is, well, the smallest by just tapping X, and the largest is while holding X. Now, it's really rare actually that we will even do normal jumps. Mostly we'll do charge jumps, which look like this. The charge jump. And jump height also affects charge jumps. As you can see, I can barely make it up to the first ladder with a small one, like this. But with a high one, I can like skip both ladders in one go. Like that. Even though I bunked. Like this. I also want to go into another thing before we even move on. You will hear me talk about something called the twitch, or one frame glide, and it looks like this. See how it does like a little twitch where Spyro twitches midair? It's essentially a one frame glide, and the way I do it is just keep holding square, jump, and at some point during my jump I just press X. You can't initiate it like instantaneously, it does take a little bit of time, so keep that in mind. We'll utilize the twitch for certain tricks in the game, something called proxies, and to set up some certain movement tech will actually also use it for. Just keep that in mind. Another thing we can do is something called the flame charge. Now, as you can see, I can walk while using the flame, and I can also charge, right? But if I'm charging at the same time as I'm trying to do circle, nothing happens. The flame doesn't come out. But if I really quickly let go of square, he's no longer in the charging state, as you can see if I do this. And I can input a flame in between that, so it'll look like this. I can only even jump with it. This. You don't have to hold forward, you can just let go of this stick entirely like this. Wow. That. That's really useful because in certain proxies we'll actually have to utilize that. Alright. That is the basic movement tech essentially. There's really nothing to it other than that. I'll cover anything else as we get to them. The first thing is we want to get up to Sunny Villa. Now, Sunny Villa is the level right up there. And it's obvious what we want to do is we want to get on these stairs. And then as soon as we touch that last platform, Bianca is going to talk to us. As you can see, walking and jumping up these stairs is not fast at all. It's really slow, and we can definitely speed it up by charging, jumping. Let's see if I can do something really simple like this. As you can see. Now, the last jump is often what people have a lot of trouble with. Now the fastest look like this. The fastest movement you can do looks like this. As you saw, I jumped as soon as I touched the edge. There's something called a magic stair. And essentially just whenever you jump as soon as you touch the edge of something, then you get another jump initiated. That's like that, for instance. And you can do it onto any stair in theory. We do it there because it just gives us perfect height to go straight onto the platform there, as you can see. As you see, I actually let go of like X while jumping up it. And the reason why I do that is because then I can determine the next height of the next jump.
So you're the one.
I just skip that, but when I come up here, I don't want to be like here. I actually want to land over as much to the right as I can. And if have the camera like this, what I do in full movement is I come from up there in one charge. Come here. Do that. So hard. Did like this. Cancel. Get a glide and cancel it out with this, I guess, charge input. Get used to that because we're gonna use that quite a lot actually. Certain places, so just get used to rolling your thumb on the stick like this, but it's not really that hard. And if you don't feel like doing it because you find it tricky or something, you can take half a second of time loss and do this instead. That's even simpler. Right, so let's go into Sunny Villa. Alright, so at this point you've heard me when I explained the different movements like that I use something called the proxy. Now, what is a proxy, you might be asking? Well, it's essentially this, if I can get it. That's a proxy right there. So that looked really easy, but it actually isn't. A proxy is basically whenever you interact with a hitbox in a certain way where the game doesn't want you to interact with it. So in this case, it's actually because we get stuck inside the enemy hitbox when gliding. Because for some reason we can charge inside hitboxes like this. I can keep charging into it, but I cannot glide into it And this enemy's hitbox just so happens to stay after we've killed him. So if we kill him with a flame, jump into him, jumping into him, right? Like this, like killing with a flame charge, jumping into him. Then on the right timing, we want to use the X input. And that will essentially give us the proxy. So to summarize, what you want to do is you want to kill him. Be close into the center of his hitbox actually. And then you want to tap X in the middle. Like that. That was a bad attempt. But you can also like this essentially. Now you might have noticed I didn't get it every time, and that's actually because there's different ways you can mess it up. One of the common ways a lot of people actually mess it up is they get all the way up to the enemy, like all the way up in the face of it, and then what they do is they flame, like at the very last moment you can do it, and that often means that you're too close to the enemy when you jump. So you'll often end up not even getting the proxy. You'll be too far forward inside the enemy hitbox. Once you reach it, I showed like that. I was lucky there. But sometimes you won't get it, and it's a really inconsistent setup. It's better to be a little bit away from it and then doing it just too far away. Let's see if we can get the perfect one now. That's a perfect one. Perfect height. So yeah. You want to be as centered on the hitbox as possible. And the reason you want to flame it is actually just so happens to be something like this. With this enemy right here, there's an enemy right there. If you line yourself up all the way up to the wall here, turn around, do a quick charge and then flame him. The common mistakes are you're not flaming close enough to the enemy, or you're flaming too far away. You're probably not doing the twitch on the like at the correct timing. You're doing it either too early or too late. You're not getting it high enough. If you're getting a low proxy, not a high one, and you are doing the twitch too late. Oh, wait, sorry, too early, and you're flaming too early also. If you get a forward proxy, you're either too close to the enemy when you kill him, or you are just doing the twitch too late. So you want to be just right. It's something like, again, it's something that takes time and practice, but definitely worth learning, because as you can see, it's really easy. Once you get it and once you know what to do, it's still something that you'll mess up on high level. My consistency is probably 70% with it, but you want to practice it. Another thing is, you might be wondering, all right, what do I even do with the proxy? I know how to do it, but what do I do with it? Well, I will show you that right now, actually. If you get a perfect height proxy like this, you can just go straight through the roof like this. And down here, and you see you reach the end of the level. If you talk to him, then you're done with the level, you're actually finishing the level. Now, say you're not getting a perfect height proxy and you're getting a decent height. Let's see if we can get it. Yeah, like this. You go straight through that wall right there. So, on the outside of this wall here, you can see that these two pillars here. The right side of this pillar is actually not solid. Like, it's completely solid, but on the inside here it's not. And the entirety of the other pillar over here is not solid to a certain height. You see that window looking flower thing, how it changes color halfway through, and it's weird, like it's darker and it's lighter. Well, you see that line it basically creates? Well, that line indicates when it's solid and when it actually isn't. So when it's dark, like from dark area and up, it's non-solid. From light area and down, it's completely solid. So if you get a proxy that's high enough, you can go straight through and in here on the other side. Let's say you missed the first proxy, like off the first guy here. You missed this guy. Let's say you do like this. You're like, oh no, I missed it. Then you can go on to this guy. You can attempt it. And then you want to land here. And there's a small place down here on the grass, on the hill. See this triangle I'm walking on right now? If you barely get enough height that you can't reach up here, you can aim for this spot and hover up here. And from here you want to see, you see this corner right here, this roof. The roof is not solid. What you want to do is you want to charge straight through and enter here, and the end of the level. And let's say you don't get this one, and you also don't get this one. Then you're like, oh, that wasn't even enough height to reach it up there. What do I do then? Well, what you do then is, if you don't even get anything, you can just charge here, come through here, jump over here. You want to jump so you don't talk to Zoe. Then what you see is you see this guy over here. You can also proxy off of him. And if you get that proxy, you'll essentially just have to get enough height to walk up there. And then you can go straight down into the end of the level. It's pretty much, like, you'll know what you have to do once you get up there. Straightforward. And now, you might be thinking, oh, so I can do it off this guy as well. Well, the thing is, if you do it this way, you'll hit that guy's trigger and trigger a cutscene, and this way will actually lose you time, even though you can't get it. I won't recommend going for that guy. I'll just recommend going through the level normally at this point. And you see, there's one more guy you could in theory proxy off. You could come here and be like, hey, you know, proxy, hey. Be like, hey, I'm going up here as was told, and then down there. And I think it might just be the same speed, because you have to take a bit of a detour. But otherwise, what you can do is you can do this. And then you're straight to the end of the level. You might see a lot of high level players reset over not getting the first proxy, like one of the first two proxies. I'd say, if you go for a sub 27, then you can reset the run over not going for this. Like if you want to go for 27, you can reset if you don't get either or, like one of the two first guys, because going for the third guy and going through the level normally, it's a lot slower and it's making the run a lot harder to get like a good time. If you're a beginner, just you don't have to get the proxy, it's not necessary, but yeah.
Thank you for rescuing my tower.
Now here we're actually getting into another thing, skipping eggs. You can't skip eggs with any buttons, as you can see, at all. Only start.
I'm sorry.
And another thing here, you want to exit levels by doing pause, because you can actually pause before you can move. As you can see, I can't move, but I could pause there, and then do up and X to exit the level. You just want to get the end of level egg, and then you can exit the level. It's really that simple. Alright, Seashell Shores is the next level. Now, the route I will be showing you is a more consistent route than going for something called Waterfall Swim. I'm not gonna teach you it because I don't know how to do it either. But what you do is you come out here and you turn Spyro, so it looks this direction. You do a charge jump up here and you do this. Right, so that was a lot to take in. So I'll start from the very beginning. So it should start from down here. I do this small jump to optimize, because you're not fast in the air, you're fast on the ground. You want to be using as little time in the air as possible. And what you do is you come here and do a full height jump. And you land here, but in one motion, you want to jump up on this. As you can see, normally when you're here, Hunter will talk to you. But for some reason, they didn't program it so the hitbox went all the way around this thing. So you can stand here, and you can also stand over here. We'll utilize that to our advantage, that we can skip talking to Hunter and do the fastest movement we can. What we do is we come here, we hit this, and then do a glide. It's really difficult to actually hit this corner here, this edge in general, just because for some reason it's just hard. I don't know how to explain it. But you want to do a glide to slow you down, so you can easily maneuver while mid-air. So come here, glide, and then charge down back at it, and jump immediately like this. And then you want to reach over here, that corner, but instead of stopping, you want to just do a charge jump, so it will look like this in one motion. And then glide. And let's say you don't get a high enough jump, you might have to hover at the end here, you might have to press triangle here. But if you can see, if you don't have to, often actually at the end you can do a little charge, and that will make sure you'll get to the end. So coming from this area here, what you want to do is you of course want to do this. Come over here and charge down, and you saw me do this twitch there. I did the 1 frame glide there, and then up and out. You don't want to do the 1 frame glide if you're not comfortable with it. There are methods to make this really easy. First we have to go with what's actually what I'm doing essentially, because it looked really hard to do this, right? It's actually quite tricky. Get a good one. A lot of height. I'm not getting it right now. See, you can see I'm getting a low one. And now I'm getting a high one. What it is if we call it a super fly jump. And this is because this power up here is called a superfly power up. And we want to, as you can see, we want to get out over here. That's where I were before. But as you can see, normally, oh no, I can't get out. Let's try that one more time. Come here. You want to get out. But the power up just disappears. So we can't just fly out. We have to somehow cheat it to get enough height to reach up and behind that wall. This is where this motion here comes in. The way I do it is I come here and I do an X input. Let me just get this so it shuts up. I do an X input and then I hold down at the same time to do this, so I angle myself upwards. And then I keep holding X the entire duration, so it does this essentially. And then at the end, I tap square, or hold down square actually, so I do this. So down X and square, so it looks like this. Right? That. And if you play Spyro 2, you would know it's basically the same inputs as doing a double jump. That is quite tricky, and I'll say the easiest way to do this is you do it like this. You come down from up there, you land down here, and you glide through here, come here, jump over here, come up here, do this, right? So saw me do like a little flop with my wings there. Like we call this a flop. The wings, this. And that's essentially just so when I come out of this, you see there's a hole up here at the entrance of the cave. It's just to give us a good height so we can get over here easily, right? You turn around and you jump up here. And let's say you feel a bit more cocky and you want to do it faster. You can come down here, do the exact same thing. But instead of going over to the other wall, you just curve it like this over here. Alright. Now, common mistakes are not inputting the glides correctly. Like the superfly power, like the charge at the end. A lot of people, I see them do is they come here, they do this, and they do another one up there. You don't have time to do two of those flop with the wings. You actually only have time to do one. So 1, 2, and then you have to do it immediately to get up here. Keep that in mind. If you're doing it perfectly, I actually think you're only pressing square like 3 times in total. Come here, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Like that. That's if you're doing it perfectly. Let's say you're doing it this way. This method. Hit 1, 2, 3. Right? Keep that in mind. So you don't want to do 2 flops up in this level. You only want to do 1. You come here and do 1 to get up, and then 1 to initiate the superfly charge. Another common mistake is a lot of people, they try to extend it as far into the, like as far towards the opening as they can, but that often results in this happening. The power up just cuts and you're not allowed to do it anymore. You just fall down. So keep that in mind. You want to do it not too far within the opening of the cave entrance, but you also don't want it to do, like you don't want to do it like down here. Sure, like you don't want to do it like here. You don't want to do it like that. You want to be up in this area first. I don't want to be too far towards the exit of the cave or the entrance of the cave. So yes, let's continue. I think I explained that good enough. Come here. 1, 2, turn. I'm actually turning while doing that super, like the upwards momentum. Alright, now from here, you want to look this direction and you want to charge down and then glide. Now, before we hit the water, you want to charge. You want to charge into the water like this. And that gives us something called swim in air. Now, you might be really confused what just happened. Now, if you look, I can swim everywhere I want. Doesn't matter. There's no water over here. I can fly over it. I can do whatever I want. Over here, sure. Heck, even if I want to, I can go over here. So water in this game is actually not like a volume like you would expect. Like, you're not confined to swim within this area here. Swimming is more like a trigger. And we can see this when we go through. If I go through, I hear it once, and then it cancels in. And if I come out, it's gone. So entering with swim, if you enter a plane while not swimming, like a water plane while not swimming, you'll get swim. But if you don't, let's say you are already swimming and then you enter the water plane, then you'll cancel it out and enter non-swimming state. That's essentially what just happens. Come down here, glide, you take that, and then you go over here. Now, we're gonna enter this level from underneath. For some reason, the game developers stored every portal that you need underneath where it's supposed to be. So you come over here, and if we look up, you can actually see the portal right there. You see that mustache looking thing? If you swim into that by doing this, you'll enter it straight away. And yeah, that's essentially what we'll be exploiting, that knowledge that the portal is stored underneath where it's supposed to be. We'll exploit that. Now this is Seashell Shores, there's nothing to it, just go through it normally like this. Jump here to avoid her talking to you. Glide here to get a better angle, cut here, pull this guy, hit this wall, do a little motion here. Jump and glide here, dodge here, jump here, do magic stairs here, come down here. You see this thing? Hit that, kill this guy. That's the end of the level. There's nothing to it really. A really simple level. The hardest part of this level is definitely entering it. Once you're inside the level itself, you're basically home in town. There's nothing that can really mess you up, only if you do some bad movement. Alright, so again here we will do up and exit level. To exit as soon as we can, and that's Seashell Shores. Yeah, there's a cutscene you want to skip as fast as you can. Right, Molten Crater. Coming out of this level, you'll look like this with the camera like this, pointing this direction. What you want to do is you want to turn. You see this little corner over here? You want to go over here, and then jump over here, and then hover at the end. If you do it correctly, like that, if I do it in one motion, you'll see what.
Here I was.
Shut up. You'll see what I'm meant to do. I'll do this. Hover. And then I'm up here. Now from here we want to get all the way up to the top of this hill, and the fastest way to do it is this. Like this. And you want to stop right here. We're gonna learn a new mechanic here called wall gliding. And essentially, if Spyro glides against the wall, like this one, let's get a better one, this one here. If Spyro glides against the wall, for some reason he can sometimes glide along it and then continue getting height instead of actually losing height. Like that. That's essentially, you saw there for a brief second. I didn't lose height, I actually gained height. And we want to utilize that knowledge to our advantage when we come up here. You can actually skip onto the top of that hut over there. You see that building? You can actually get on top of that. Now casually, a lot of people, what they do is they come here and they go like, oh, well, I guess it's impossible. A common theme with this game is the developers put things just barely out of reach, so you wouldn't be able to reach it. But that one can easily be reached by doing a wall glide. So you come here, you line yourself up with the leaves over here. Is that like here? Line yourself with the leaves so you're parallel with the leaves. And you want to jump up on this thing here. This thing. You want to charge jump around the building here while gliding into the wall. As you can see, it's sloping upwards just the tiniest bit. So we want to glide up like upon that. So we do this essentially. And hover and make it up here. That is looking pretty easy, but it's actually quite hard. A lot of people mess it up like that. That's a common mistake a lot of people do. They just fall off the jump there. And another common mistake is they actually get the glide cut. And that's something that can just happen if you go too steep in towards something. Doesn't matter what it is. As you can see, at some point he'll cut his glide like this. So we want to only just barely glide for the like a necessary amount of time to gain height instead of losing height, as I explained with the wall glide. So come here, jump, jump, turn and glide, and we want to get up there. And that's another common mistake what happens. So what happened there was I didn't glide enough into the wall actually. I didn't get the wall glide. Another mistake a lot of people actually do is they jump like here. They do something like that. Like you want to jump as late on the checkerboard platform as you possibly can. So doing it correctly would look something like this. You line yourself up with the leaves, you look at the wall there, you come here, you jump, you glide, and you hover. Right? And you saw how I turned the camera there. I know some people don't like to do that. I do it. I don't know why I do it. I just always done it. That's the way I learned to do it. Some people, they do it like this. Then they make it up there. You can also do something called setup list, but it's essentially really hard, so I'm not gonna teach you it. But if you want to do, go for it. I got some tips for you. You want to do this. One glide, and the rest is jumps. That. Doesn't matter what way you're getting up here, as long as you get up here. From this position, what you want to do is you want to charge over here to this point here, and then jump onto that wall. So you do this, you hover here, so this position or whatever, and you jump over here. And then what you can do is you can hover, or you can just go beyond this, but I want to hover here so I can show you something. You come here and you turn with the D-pad sharply, and you see the mustache thing is right there. You want to glide into that, like that. Alright, so let me show you this first. That's the next thing we're gonna look into. That's actually something called an animation proxy. That specific proxy is something we call Byrd proxy. Now, we have this Byrd right here, or the pig, or whatever you want to call it. And as you can see, when it looks at us, it charges towards us. And that animation, when it turns, it actually pops up a bit at you, like the back of it. If you look at it, he like takes his back up a bit. And that is essentially what we want to use, because for some reason that animation got a hitbox. What we can do is we can proxy off the hitbox. Now the inputs are quite different, so I'll tell you what I do. You don't need to hold any direction at all going for this proxy. We see this lake over here, this lava lake. As soon as it goes off screen to the right, at the same time it does that, I'm making sure that I jump. And I do a full height jump, and I cut it off by doing a glide, so like this. Then I do a square input, and that will essentially give us the proxy. Right? So yeah, you want to do a glide there, not a twitch. And you want to do it as the edge of this lake here goes off screen. So some common mistakes people do there is that, of course, they charge too late, or jump too late, or jump too early. Jump too early, you'll most likely go over the bar. But the most common mistake is people bunk on the bar and they don't know why they do it. On the bar, they bunk on the pig, and I don't know why they do it. So as I said, they're probably jumping too early, or you're jumping too late. Because if I jump too late, it'll look like this. And if I jump too early, when I'm coming to do the charge, I'll actually bunk into it. Now, let's say you go over the pig, as I explained before, then you're gliding too long. You probably jumped too late as well. So just as the lake go off screen, I'm jumping and gliding. There, that was too late. I jumped too late, and I did the glide way too long, and I probably also jumped too high. It's a bit finicky, but once you get it down, it's easy. So you do this, and you do it like that. All right. And then if you get it, you can glide right to that. But let's say you don't get it. What then? Well, let's say you bunked. So come here and you bunk. The pig is dead. Now, even if the pig doesn't die, you don't go for it again. What you do is you do this. Come here. Kill this guy. Come up here. This point. Now you might be thinking, oh, I'm gonna proxy over that board. No, you're not. You're gonna run past him. Come over here. Go over here. Come here. Do this exact movement. Not exact, but as close as you possibly can. Reach this point here, because for some reason you can stand right here. like a little triangle here. Come up here, change jump, and then talk to the guy. Alright? If you get the proxy, you just glide straight to this point, and if you don't, you just go further a little normally. You talk to the guy,
Here, take this.
and then, yeah, of course, skip the egg fishing start, and then exit the level as fast as you possibly can. So the level we are entering right now is going to be out Spires. So what I'm doing here is you hold L1 and R1, L2 and R2. As I saw, it turned the camera just the tiniest bit. Now if you do it the entire duration of that time, you get the camera behind him and you can charge like this. And then what you do is you come over here. And then you see that ledge up there? We actually want to get up on that ledge so we can go over here. The way we do that is we come from over here and then we turn and glide like this. It's really easy, there's nothing to it really. I know, messed it up, but just do that. It's essentially a wall glide, except it's really easy. And we're actually utilizing another game mechanic called the flop. As you can see there, I'm flopping. You can, in theory, flop up there, but it's really hard. Now the way the flop works is that on ledges where you're just barely out of reach, what you can do is you can run up to certain, like some of them, and then if you're lucky you can get a flop like this, what do we call a flop, and then you can flop up there. It will look something like it could in theory be done here. It's just not really a ledge that's easy to get up on with a flop. Ledge would be, for instance, this one. So what you do is you do a full jump here and then glide. Like, come here, run along the wall, and then you glide and come up. Let's say you miss it, because I'm really not that good at it and I miss it a lot. Then that's a good backup. So you'll often be put in this position since you're gliding along. Like, let's say you miss it like this. In this position, what you can do is you can do something called a spin jump. And it can be done for any position as long as you have your back turned up against a ledge like this one. As you can see, it's just barely out of reach. Like I actually guess you might be able to get up there just barely with a good jump. Like with a normal jump, but we can do something called a spin jump. That'll guarantee that we go up it. Let's say we're in this position, right? Like this. Looking like we're pointing straight away from it. Like an arrow. We somewhat create a triangle. What we can do is we can actually turn a bit to the right here, for instance. And then what we can do is we can jump. And while jumping, we can turn left. So we can do something that looks like this. And that's a spin jump. Now, it can also be done from this position. And you turn left. It's just a bit more finicky then. Because you will have a bigger, like, more momentum. Like, you'll be turning in a wider turn to get up. So, the way it works is that the direction Spyro is pointing, you need to turn the other direction when you're jumping. Let's say here I'm pointing to the right, so turn left. Right, so if you go back down, and here I'm pointing to the left, I jump and turn right. Okay? In this specific case right here, you come, you miss it. Oh, I missed it. Like this. And then you would jump, and then you can do it like this. Right, let's say you miss it again. Let's say you don't even get this. It's actually a backup to the backup in this case. That is either, let's say, oh, I missed it, and then you try it again. Or if you're positioned like this, where there's no good position where I can really do the spin jump, because it would be slow. You can do this. You can just jump, like a full jump, and then come out with like a bit of an arc like this. And then glide with a square input in front of it, like a charge glide. And this charge glide is essentially when you just jump, and then charge, and then really quickly do a glide. They're essentially doing this just really quickly. That's that right? And you do the inputs really quickly, and you get it. So if you miss everything, there's a backup for the backup. So if you miss this, miss the spin jump. Oh no, I missed it. And you're positioned like this. And there's no reason not to go for it, because you can just do that and hold straight up and you'll get it. It's really easy. As you can see, like, I'm not really missing it. And you can even combine it with the spin jump to make it even more consistent. Like that, right? Even though I got it. Right. Now, anyways, doesn't matter how you come up here. If you come from a spin jump, you will obviously have a good angle to continue on towards the next platform. But if you come from this angle, what you want to do is you want to come here and glide and charge up. Let's see if we can get it. You want to come here and do this again, and then want to turn around. And if you want to, you could center the camera, but often if you want to do it faster, you don't need it. So you can just do this and the camera will turn by itself and you enter the portal like that. Alright, so we're actually going into a new movement take here, and this is the 1 out of 2 times we'll actually utilize this trick in the run. This is called the momentum conservation jump. And it sounds really weird, but essentially what it means is you're taking your charge and turning it into a normal high jump, like this. That's essentially what you do. So instead of doing a charge jump like this, you're doing what's known as a momentum conservation jump. So you're converting the momentum into, like, for some reason, what happens when you do this is that you're converting some of the forward momentum into vertical momentum by doing this. Right, so as you can see, like, this is not the best place to see it. There's a better place I can show you it. But as you can see, I am gaining height. Now, you're also still keeping some of the charge speed, so actually also covering a bit more distance than just jumping normally. As you can see, like, do keep some of it for a while. Now, common mistakes with this is actually because we like, a lot of people doesn't actually know what it is. So I've seen a lot of people, what they do this, and then they jump like that. Like, that was exaggerated, but it looks like this. Like this. Like they actually stop. You need to do it in one flawless motion so it can look like this. The best way to see if you can do it is doing off it like a ledge like this one, and then just doing it. If you get it with a full jump, you did it correctly. If you don't do it, like, let's say you do this, then you're doing the input too late. So we do this, and we get it. It's timing. It's basically timing. Right, so the level in its full motion would look something like this, essentially. And that's where we do the momentum conservation jump, from that platform down there to up here. And just to show you that we're actually gaining height, let's try and do it with like a charge jump. Let's see if I can do it with a charge jump, and I can tell you, can't. It's just barely out of reach. Now, on PAL, actually, on the European version, you can do it, but you should still do this since it's safer and much easier. Now, let me just show you something. So the first thing I want to show you is you don't have to do it. I recommend if you're going to do it as a beginner, you don't do it in one motion like I did. Get to this position and then you do it like that. And I'm gonna cut this down into pieces so you really understand what I'm doing. But essentially, the first thing is we need to look at this platform. I see a lot of people, what they do is they think they have to go specifically onto this point. You don't have to. You can actually do it from a lot of different points in this. I'm just gonna pick like here. As you can see, you can still make it, though it is harder since you're further back. But you can in theory still make it, or not in theory, in practice make it. So the best way to do it is aim towards this. Now the hardest part of this is actually for a lot of people knowing when to initiate the glide. A lot of people, what they do is they know, oh, I've been told I have to do it at the peak of my jump, so I'll wait till I visually can see the peak of my jump. So let's do that. So I'm going to show you what happens actually up here, how you get punished if you do it at the visual point. So how I lost a bit of height there to initiating the glide. The glide animation isn't actually instantaneous, and you can still gain height while you're entering the glide animation. And we want to utilize that, so just a bit before you enter the full height of your jump, you want to initiate the glide. Now another thing, and that I see a lot of people do, is they come here, they do everything correctly, even the glide, and then they go straight over there, and they miss it. For some reason, you have to do a little glide off to the left. You see the way I do it is I do something like this. And essentially what we're doing is we're doing a mini spin jump like on the air. Like in air we do a mini spin jump, so we're like turning it away and then bringing it back in. I like to call that the bring and slam. So if you look at this, you can see it's actually sloping a bit downwards, which means if we're doing it, we want to utilize to be as close as possible. And we can't really do that if you're going straight into it, so we actually want to bring it just out a bit to hammer it back in like this. Looks something like this on this one. Like that really is saturated, but I think you get the idea. You want to do like this to make it. And what I see a lot of people do is they try and aim for the straightest path up there. That's not really what you want to do. You see how there's a corner right, like if you look down the spikes in Spyro, you see there's a corner right there. You want to roughly aim towards that, or you want to aim a little bit past that or a little bit before that. In general, around that corner is a good place. You can do this. It's really an important trick to be able to do because it saves a lot of time. It saves a lot of time compared to the other trick that like the alternative, which I'll show you right now. The alternative, what you can do is you can do this. And remember that flop mechanic I told you about? Yeah, we can utilize it here actually. So you do a flop here. It's really weird because this is really bright and saturated, so it looks like you might be further away than you are from it, so you have to do the flop quite early like this. Then you get up here, and then a thing that you need to know about this game is that loading zone split, and we'll actually utilize that at the very last skip that makes this category possible. But loading zone split, let's say you're not comfortable in doing that jump over there, even though you should do it, even though you are a beginner. If you just want to get a run that's decent, but not the best run, what you can do is you can do this instead and then glide over here. And then it's pretty big hitbox, and you enter this mini game, and then you'll exit it. And what you'll see is that we're up here, we just skip that thing there. Though you might already be able to see that them side by side there's a huge difference. I'll actually insert it. So as you can see, there's a big difference between doing it. This over here is way faster. So I recommend learning how to do this. Just in general, it's so much faster. Like, look at it. Such a beautiful trick as well. It's a bit tricky, but it's one of those things once you know how to do it, you'll instantaneously get it every time. I have a 99% consistency with it. What you then do is you turn and you charge jump over here and you glide into this guy's trigger. Now I want to tell you something. For some reason, the next cutscene, you don't want to be mashing start at all, because you can actually pause while trying to skip it. So what you want to do is you want to skip this thing here. This text box you can skip with start and X, but this one you want to tap triangle. And here you want to go back to doing start and X. For some reason you can pause while in that cutscene. I don't know why. It's just a thing that can happen. So I'd recommend, if you're going for when you're going to skip that cutscene, you definitely need to use triangle to skip it. That's just a little hint. And of course, to exit, you can pause before, like as soon as you can, and then up and exit, and that's how it Spires. Alright, the next level that we're gonna talk about is Sheila's Alp. And we will have to do this thing here. Now I assume you already have watched Seashell Shores. I'll turn into that one. So we have to do the exact same thing. You go over here and above, down here, get swim in air, and you swim. Now, the fastest way to enter Sheila is actually from behind, funnily enough. Now you see how her house here, you see how where the portal is supposed to be, roughly where she is. If you aim like this area right here, you'll be able to get in. But if you don't have that feel for where the portal is, because you can't see the mustache thing from behind, you can only see it from this angle for some reason. You can go over here in front, and then you can just go straight into it. Now Sheila is actually our first major RNG, where RNG, like level where RNG plays a huge factor. And she's also our first side character. So with each side character, there actually comes a different set of movement techs you have to know. Now, Sheila has a couple of them. She has double jump. Well, so Sheila has a couple of them. She has single jump, different heights, of course. Yes, double jump. Of course, you can spam and get a shorter one. And she got a high jump. Now, high jump is quite high, as you can see. And it's really not that good because, as you can see, having to move around with this would be really slowly. So a lot of the time we have to do anything. We actually don't want to use the full high jump, even though over here we're supposed to use the high jump. As you can see, we cleared by a mile. What we can actually do is we can do something called kicking. It surprised Sheila can kick. And that actually cuts it off. As you can see, that's a high jump, and I'm just cutting it off by kicking. So you can cut it off and then you'll land on the ground sooner. Now a good example would be something like high jump kick like this. Like a good example would be this, maybe like that. Or just kick on the top of your jump, or like as soon as you're rising. You can also do it with single jumps and double jumps, as you can see. Now, as I said, Sheila is RNG based. Some of the enemies where they spawn is based on RNG, and it's something you have to adapt to. There's no real way I can tell you, oh, this is what you want to do in this case, because it's based on RNG, and the RNG is based on movement and a lot of other things. So just, I can tell you the movement you can do to get to the certain spots, but I cannot tell you what to do in the RNG spots. What you want to do is here, you want to do a double jump, kick, double jump, kick. Kill this guy with a kick. High jump, kick to cut it off. Walk here. Don't kick here. Come here. Kick this guy. Kick this guy. A single jump up here. Double jump from far away to get up here. And also kick on the top. And I want to kill these huts. Now, as you can see there, as I hit the hut, I actually startled. But there, I didn't. I'm just passing right through it. I passed right through it. Let's see if I can also do it over here. Yeah, there. And the way you get that is by hitting on the very edge of the mushrooms, instead of hitting dead center on them. And of course, the way we're bringing it is with a head bash. Now, this room, as I'd call it here, there's 3 rooms. There's the starting point, and then there's this room and the room over here. That's basically where all the RNG is. This is the major RNG point, and this is also major RNG, like somewhat major, because that Rhinoc that normally is down here, he can either be over here, or he can be like here, and he can be moving. Now, a good tip is kill all the Rhinocs before you kill the last mushroom thing, because the Rhinoc will still be in the air. Like, as you can see, enemies still exist even after you've killed them. And that's basically, these goats here, for some reason, they check if either the bug, like if the mushroom has been destroyed, or if the enemies are still, you know, on screen and still in theory alive. So as you can see, things, they just instantaneously break, and the mushrooms just break like that. So kill the mushroom at last, because that's the fastest way to get him to move. And as you have killed the last mushroom, you want to get up here and then talk to him. And that's really Sheila. Sheila's not that complicated of a level. So yeah, again, exit. And that's it. Alright, so here you can do something like this. You can lob up that. I messed that up, but you can also charge underneath it and jump up. Doesn't really matter what you do. The fastest thing is jump flopping up and like this, and then landing on it. You have to wait a bit. So a good idea is to time it with like a flame and then do it like that. And then you can make it as the balloon is coming down. Now, what really matters is just get in on the balloon as fast as possible. And the fastest way to do it is the flop, as I said. Now, once you're on the balloon, what you want to do is an up input. You don't need to do it down, because later, when we need to use the different vehicles, you don't want to do down inputs, because there's a lot of things from the top one to the bottom one. And we always want to get to the bottom one. So we're going to do up and X. And that's it. Now, there's a couple of cutscenes here.
Listen carefully, you.
Sometimes my start input isn't registered. Alright. Sheila, Buzz, sorry. Shut up. I want to explain Buzz. Now, Buzz has basically 2 attacks you'll get to see in the entire run, if you do him correctly. Now, casually, what you have to do is you have to make him charge you, he'll stop, and then you have to do this, and you have to hit him in, and it's really painful, and it's slow, and Yeah, and then after you've hit him, you have to do this thing where he just runs like a bus. We call this the buzzsaw attack, because his name is Buzz, and he's doing like a buzzsaw. And you have to again charge away from him, because you don't want to get hit, and hit him in, and it's just really a pain in the ass. Now we can actually utilize a couple of things here, game mechanics, to kill him really easily. Like you can kill him within 1 minute and 20 seconds. It's really quick and easy to kill. So what you do is you do this, and you then turn around here and do this, and you hit him in like that. You don't need to turn the camera there. I turn it just so I can get a better angle, and then hit him in. You want to hit him in as close to the arena as possible, into the lava that is, so that Sheila has to travel when she wants to do a ground pound attack on, like, to damage him. She doesn't have to like jump all the way out into like maybe at the edge of the possible like of this map to hit him. You want her to travel the least distance. What you do is you hit him, and you walk up like about this distance away from him, and then you turn the camera away from him, and you hit him in. I just saw the buzzsaw attack that didn't even last, and we didn't hear it at all. That's actually because Buzz is programmed not to charge off the arena. He's also not programmed, like he doesn't want to charge off into the arena and into the lava. That would be horrible. That's a horrible boss that would just kill himself, you know. So what we actually want to do is, of course, stay close to the arena so he doesn't charge off into nothingness. Now, after he's stopped charging, what he'll do is he'll do something like this. I can show you it. He'll put up that firewall. Now, there's a rule in this game that if something is not on screen, then it doesn't exist and it doesn't happen. So if you turn the camera away from him, like I took damage there. Let's see if I can show you it. So normally here what Buzz will do is he will throw up his firewall, but as you can see I turned the camera away from him, and it just kept turning away from him, so he's not on screen, therefore it doesn't happen. Now that's bullshit right there. That shouldn't have happened, but it did for some reason. I'm not quite sure, but normally it won't happen if you do it correctly. I might also notice that I'm not pointing straight at Buzz. That's again, I want to hit him with an angle so he hits as close to the edge of the arena as possible. And the main thing with Buzz is turn the camera away from him so he isn't so the camera doesn't look at him. Turn the camera away from him so that he's off screen, and therefore the rule applies that, oh, he's not on screen, therefore he doesn't exist and he can't attack. And you also want to be close to the arena so that the buzzsaw attack will just cut out like instantaneously. And then you want to hit him as close to the arena as possible. And that's essentially just Buzz. Again, he's not complicated at all. There's really nothing to this boss fight other than doing that. So yeah, that concludes our first boss. Now next up is Midday Garden, an entire homeworld. Alright, so coming into Midday Garden, you just want to charge. So you do this and enter this cutscene. You have to do it, there's no way to skip it. So, and then you just talk to Bianca. Now, if you're low on sparks here, and if you don't feel confident that you're going to just avoid attacks in the next couple of levels, run over here, kill one rabbit. You don't really need anything but blue sparks. If you're on green sparks, you can kill. If you're no sparks entering Midday Garden, you can kill both rabbits. But I'll just recommend stay on at least blue spikes. That's the minimum you need. If you're on high level, like if you play on a better level, you know, like you're not gonna take damage. But just to be sure, you can do it. The next thing we want to enter is Searching Byrd. Now normally we have to pay for Searching Byrd, but as you can see, I don't have that much money. Like, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to pay that price. But we can cheat. We can always cheat. You see this bridge down here? Now, what you want to do is you want to, as you can see, you cannot swim underneath it normally. But if you jump, you can see how Spyro actually goes down and up for a bit there. Like he's down into the water and then up, down and up. If you do that, you can see he clips down and then up, and then he's now under the bridge. What you then can do is you hold down triangle and look towards this wall over here. Now what you want to do is you want to do 2 high jumps. And as you can see, Spyro is actually clipping over the wall here. And this is something you have to get a feel for. There's no way I can tell you what you have to do. This is something you have to get a feel for. But in general, after like certain set of these. There's actually a consistent way to get this. I already have a tutorial on this if you want to go check it out. But essentially this is something you have to get a feel for, and then press square on the right timing, and then you clip over and out of bounds. Now, let me go through that one more time. You do 2 quick jumps, 2 tall jumps, then you just time your square and put so it lines up so you get out of bounds. Now, in that case, I didn't time my square input correctly, so I fell down and into the water. It is a bit finicky, and it's something that a lot of people actually despise about this run, but it's quite easy. Like, there's a consistent setup right off the bat, where if you listen to the music, it just so happens to sync up with the water cycle if you're fast enough. I'll see if I can insert my PB here and then like point out when it is. Alright, so from here what you want to do is you want to swim. So you come here and you swim over here. You see, you remember that rule that the portal was stored underneath? Yeah, that rule still applies, but as you can see, there's no mustache. So what do you do then? Well, you have to do it off field. Now I know it's not all the way up here, but even though that would make way more sense, it's actually quite low for some reason. But it's not all the way down here, because the death plane is all the way down there. You'll just die if you swim too low. Now, just real quick, get over there. Right, so let's swim over there again. So what I aim for is, you see that basket over there? That, like this, like that one right there, the third from the left. I swim towards that, and you see the wall over here, like the bottom of the wall. As I swim, I make sure that I'm like below it, and then here at the end I just do a little tap downwards, and then I get it. I don't really know how to explain what I do there. I just have a feel from like where the portal is, and like visualize where it is and just get it. Now, searching Byrd. Our second main side character actually. Now, if you played this game casually, you know he doesn't have the best movement. He's really clunky, and just moves really horrible. He does have this strafe thing here with both buttons, and you know it's not really that fantastic. But we can do something if you hold down both strafe buttons. Look at that. He moves so much faster, and he's actually way easier to control. It's a bit floaty, but he's still really easy to control. As you want to turn, you just let go and turn him. This is an escort mission, and there's actually a couple of things to this level that a lot of people doesn't know. One of the major things is that you have to do it. You have to get to the first egg. You have to get 2 eggs in this level, but you have to get to the first egg like really quickly to do a glitch, to do something. So you kill all of these things, destroy this wall, and you come here. Then what you do is you look down and you kill that enemy down there. And you also want to see if you can reach that enemy and kill him while falling down. And then you'll get teleported to get up here. It's kinda hard and kinda precise, but practicing it should allow you to do it. And what you want to do is you want to kill that enemy there. And then you want to go ahead and take all these anvils. Really, there's nothing to this, just go over it. You don't have to press anything. As you can see, the bird is actually waiting down there. Now, those 3 enemies that I killed, this bird is looking for a couple of checkpoints. And I just so happened to complete one of the checkpoints. The checkpoint was, well, did I kill those enemies? Yes, then she'll go wait over here. Another one of the checkpoints is if the anvils are in place. Now that just also so happens to break this wall. And then the bird moves immediately. Now normally, you can actually, if you don't kill this guy over here while falling, you don't have to go kill him again. You don't want to do that. That's gonna lose you time. What you're instead gonna do is you're just gonna ignore that. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna come here, get the anvil, fly over down here, place the anvil, then fly over here, get this anvil, and then place it. And then what you want to do is you want to wait here for a bit. You want to get down here and wait a bit. Normally what I do is just so happens to be a good timing if I come here and do this. And then fly. Then the bird will follow. Now, for some reason, the bird, like the hummingbird, wants to follow you. But if you don't wait there, if you haven't killed those 3 guys, then she won't follow you unless you wait on her. You have to wait there for a bit, and then you can continue on with the level. Now from here you only have to kill one last enemy, and that enemy is going to be that guy down there. Now you're done. Now you can also, if you are low on health, get a lot of health by taking a bomb and dropping it over here and kill those ladybugs.
Mission accomplished.
You'll get automatically teleported towards this place, like over here, and you can just collect the egg and you can exit the level. Again, not really the most complicated level. The hardest thing is optimizing the movement and getting down. Like bridge swim is kind of difficult. Optimizing the movement is kind of difficult, but I would say the hardest thing is definitely killing that last pot guy down on the lower left bottom before you get teleported the first time. So that's what you want. Now again, exit as soon as possible. Alright, Spooky Swamp. Now you come from here and you charge over here. From here you glide, you jump, glide, hover. You want to hover onto this ladder. You don't want to talk to Hunter, you want to hover onto the ladder. If you miss it, this is what it will happen. Let's see, yeah. Hunter will talk to you and then that's it. So you want to come from over here. Glide, jump, hover, and you're here, right? From this place, what I do is I come up here. I know some people do it from over here. I do it from over here. And what I do is I come in and I walk into the corner like this. And then I take and turn the camera like this while holding into the corner. As you can see, look at the analog stick down here. And then what I do is I keep holding down this is R2. And then I walk over there towards this thing here. Like this. As you can see, the camera still turns. But what I want to do is I want to jump and then glide and hover onto this. It's really easy, but a lot of people seem to have like very shaky hands, so they do something like this and don't get it. You have to keep it quite straight. Do it like this and get it. Now from here you need to turn around and you can center back in the camera. Entering this level is quite tricky because, as you can see, there's a hole down there where portal is not stored, funnily enough, because otherwise you would just charge in there and then get it. Now the portal is funnily enough stored underneath that, but quite low, but not as low as you would think, actually. So you come here and you do the charge jump and you come over here. And what I do is I glide a little bit to the left, as you saw there, and then what I do is I charge while turning right. And then what I do is I glide, then as I'm gliding I tap R1 or L1 to center the camera, and then I look where I am, and I noticed I missed the entrance there. I was a bit too far down. Now if you're too far up, you'll also miss it. You'll just simply glide either underneath the portal or above the portal. So what I do, the way I do it is I do this, like some run, glide quite early and then just enter it like that. It's kinda hard to enter. There's an easier way where you just glide all the way out and then turn with a like come here, and then what you do is you hover while turning, but you want to be out of bounds, right? So I apparently messed that up. What you do is you come out here, jump here, then you hover while turning Spyro, and then you mash X and you do another hover at some specific timing, I think. I'm not sure. At least you just glide towards where the portal should be and then you enter it. I don't recommend doing that. It's so easy to mess up. I'd recommend doing on the strat where you charge around it and then glide, because you can way easier control it. Alright, Spooky Swamp itself. You see that crocodile over there? We're just gonna call it the Croc from now on, and we can proxy off it. So we come here and we do it like that. Easy. Well, not really. As you might have noticed, it's a bit different from the last dead body proxy we actually did, which was in Sunny Villa. On this one specifically, we want to charge into it and then jump. We don't want to use the flame. As you can see, it's coming there, we do this and we can get it. I'm still doing the twitch, But the way I'm doing it, the way I'm timing the proxy is that I'm hitting it. As I jump, I'm hitting it. The way I set it up is you come here, and as I'm hitting it, I jump. Right, so that was, I jumped too late there actually. That was, as I hit it, I jumped. So just the tiniest bit before actually I hit the crocodile. Just before I hit the crocodile, I actually jump like that. Now, it is a bit finicky. It is easy. It's one of those things where I just forget to practice it basically, and it and I end up not getting it because of it. But as you can see, you get some quite high ones. Common mistakes are the either jumping too high, because I'm doing quite a low jump actually. They're either jumping like this and they expect to get it, or they're jumping too early or too late. Common mistake is I see a lot of people, what they do is they do this. They only get a small one like that. That was too high and I jumped way too late. I want to do it like that. Hit it while jumping. And then you'll not be guaranteed to get it, but it's the best way I found to get it. That's my setup for it. You're allowed to find your own. Just giving you tips here. And yeah. That's essentially Croc Proxy. It's not really that difficult. Now, when do we want, like, what do we want this to? Well, we want to do this in theory. We can get it, yeah. So let's say you get the proxy, and then you can land on certain part of this. Now you cannot land up here. At a certain point, this is actually not solid. I can just flame right through it. I'm not gonna walk through it because then I can't show what I want to do. But you can land here and you can glide over here, whatever you want to do, and land on this side. And then from here, what you can do is you can do a charge jump over here. Land here. And kill that guy. And let's say you don't get this proxy at all. Let's say you actually miss it. And you land back down here. Then sometimes what you can do is you can come up here. You have to do this anyways, but sometimes that crocodile there will either be dead or it will walk around. Sometimes he will kill it. Other times he won't. For some reason, I don't know why it is. But if it's not dead, what you can do is you can just find proxy off of it. If it is dead, or if you miss it, you can get over to this point here. And what you can do is you can do this. Now, let's say you got the Croc Proxy. Now I didn't there, so I can't demonstrate what you should do. But, and you don't want to do this, I'm showing you right now, because it's actually slower than going through the level casually. What you do is you land over here. You can jump through the top of these leaves. With the Croc Proxy, you just want to go through those leaves. If you don't get it, you just come and do this. Jump over here. Come here. Over here. And then, fastest thing is just to jump straight into the water like this. But sometimes, as you can see, you might take a hit. So yeah, that's the thing. Another thing that you can do that's a bit safer is you can get up on top of this thing and jump around over here and hover here. So let's go through that one more time. If you get this proxy, want to go over here. If you don't get it, want to come down here. If you get this proxy, you go through over here on the top of the trees. If you don't get it, you want to come here and then go through the level casually. Or somewhat casually. This is not intended. You come here, you can do this, and you just jump over here and kill this guy. Now here's actually a glitch you can do that's for some reason faster. If you mess around with the camera and have the camera facing towards Spyro, while you look towards the guy you need to talk to, like this, you can get this. I didn't get it. But you can get a glitch where you're floating on the egg. I'll insert a clip of me getting it right.
You are brave.
That's what it looks like. And that's actually faster. So if you want to mess around with the camera to see if you can get it. That's the only tip I really have to get. It's not like an end all be all thing, but it's a bit fast. I think it saves like a second, half a second, something like that. Not a whole lot, but it saves some time. I definitely recommend going for it. And again, pause and exit. Alright. Upcoming is one of the, for a lot of beginners, this is one of the harder glides to do. You come up here, jump here, get over here. Now from this position, I said, what you want to do is you want to jump through here. And you see that gym? What I do is I glide on the right side of it like this, roughly. And then you see that portal over there. I can just glide straight into it. And I'll enter the portal like that. It's a bit finicky and it's a bit tricky. But common mistakes are they actually don't have a feel for where the portal is. And that's something you have to just learn where the portal is. My tip is you probably are gliding way too far right, way too far left. A lot of people, they say, oh, I know I have to go a bit more right than I feel, and then they go a lot more right than they even have to. Now, Bamboo Terrace. Bamboo Terrace is one of these weird levels where there's actually 2 ways you can do it. The fastest way, look, something like this, if I can get it. You get the proxy off that cricket. Now again, I'm not going to tell you how to do that. It's a small jump with a quick flame, and you need to find your own spacing for it. There'll come one more proxy where I can't tell you exactly how to do it, but I can give you some tips on what to do. But if you get the proxy, you can land up here, and then what you can do is you can get up into this corner if you want to. I would recommend getting up here, and then do this. That's something called a Sproder Man. Now, that is quite finicky actually. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but it's something you have to learn how to do. So what you do is you're essentially doing a wall glide, but you cancel it out using a square input to do this. Right? And again, getting the proxy is one thing. It's actually a really hard proxy, and it's also determined on RNG. The bug can do whatever it feels like and turn in different ways. But if you get this and you get it and you do the Sproder Man like that, basically alternating between gliding and charging and gliding and charging, and you have to do it quite fast, like that. Then you'll get it, and then from here you can just jump over here, then jump over those platforms to the end of the level. Now let's say you don't get that proxy, because you get bad RNG or you don't execute it correctly, because it is a very small hitbox, so it's very precise. Let's say you do this. Oh no, I didn't get it. And what you do is you kill that moose. Come here. And you kill this guy. Come all the way over here. And then you look at these pandas. You need to wait for the pandas. Then you can approach the pandas. And from here what you want to do is you want to do a normal jump up here. Do another normal jump to get in here. And then look straight right. And you'll get a squeeze proxy. Common mistakes with that is they're not holding, probably not holding right enough, like you're not holding straight right, because this roof, as you can see, you proxied off this small area right here. If I go into this position and look up, you can see the roof is above me, so I need to go over it and out of the roof, and then I can curve it back in. I can show you what I mean. So you come here, you attempt this, and you missed it, whatever. Kill this guy, go over here, hover up here, look at the pandas. You need to look at them. You come, you do it the jump, get stuck there, you do a medium-sized jump, and then you hold right and you go up and like this. Now let's say you're really unlucky and you are so unfortunate that you get a rare thing that I haven't gotten in a lot of time, in a long time actually, and you only get a proxy that'll reach you to here. You know, there's one thing you can do. You can either jump over there and do the Sproder Man, or you can do this. And it's something called a, I like to call it a slope jump. I don't know what it's actually called. All you do is you just jump and then hold down square and X. You need to hold both down at this, like, all the entire time of doing this. Do it like this. And do a jump like that. Now, normally you will actually fall off this thing, as you can see, like that. You can't stand on it. If I try, I'll just fall off. Let's say you get this. Instead of being able to reach up here, you're supposed to be reached down here. Now here you might be thinking to yourself, okay, I don't know how to get up there. There's no way I can do a spin jump up there. I can't do a slope jump up there. So what am I supposed to do? You need to do a flop. Now see how this leaf or green thing here, whatever it is, create a triangle. What I do is I stand roughly a little bit. If this line down the roof here is the center, I stand on the right side of it. Look, like somewhat like this, and then I do a charge jump and then flop immediately while holding up left. like this. Let's see if I can get it. Like that. Alright. Now I'm up here, and it's quite finicky as I showed you. Like, it is not that easy. Like that, right? Now if you don't get it, what you can also do is you can mash X. Like do this, essentially just mash X while flopping. And that will sometimes make you able to just barely reach up there like this. If you can get it, it's quite weird. Like that. Now anyways, let's say you get the proxy, get everything, and everything is just handy and dandy. What you want to do is you want to get here, jump through here. Get over here, land here, or whatever, just at some point here. Build that moose, come here, jump around this, and then do the little, just go up and talk to that guy up there. Now let's say that you're even more unlucky, or you just haven't practiced it enough, or nerves get to you, or something, I don't know what happens. And let's say you don't even get any proxy at all, actually. You're so unlucky that nothing works out for you. You don't even get the boulder proxy. Nothing. What do you do then? Well, you go through the level casually, of course. So you do this, and you do... Oh no, missed it, even though... Yeah, see, that can happen. You're like, oh, let's say you missed that. I missed that. Oh no, what do I do then? Well, you charge through the level normally. Come here, go over here. Go down in here. You see this guy over here? Want to jump? Looking at him. Look at him, jump. And then, as you can see, he's hitting when I'm jumping at him. But after he hits, what you can do is you can jump, let him hit. Like that, and then you can do a spin jump up there. I can show you too. Like that, and then you can flame him and kill him. From here, you just go through the level casually like this. And over here. Jump here, jump, jump. Talk to this guy.
We would be
That's Bamboo Terrace for you. There's really nothing to it other than that.
the emergency.
So yeah, that's Bamboo Terrace. Just pause next to the level, and that's it. Alright, Enchanted Towers. Now, this is our first, like, it's called jump level. Really, where you do a charge jump, that's quite specific. So, I'll get to it when we get to the charge jump. I'll tell you how to do it. So what you do is you come here, and you charge, and you get over here, jump here, and you land on the right side of this portal. If, this power up here. If you land on the left side, so it will talk to you. You need to get on the right side here. Then what you do is you go through this, get into this little crevice corner here, whatever you want to call it. And you can do a flop up here, and then you can do what you have to do. You can do this, and shoot this, and then glide in. And if you do it good enough, you can also enter this at the same time. Let's say I didn't get the flop. What you can do then is you can, like, if you did that, you can either reattempt it or you can do a spin jump. Right? And let's say you also didn't get the fireball, shoot, and glide on that. What you can then do is you can get a bit away, and then you can do this. Looks like this. Right, and as you can see, you can easily hit it. You walk all the way over here. Also just shoot like this, but what you can also do is you can do this. And then you'll activate it and glide in. It's really not hard, just do it like this. Yeah, that's it. Alright, Enchanted Towers. Now, Enchanted Towers is actually a quite interesting level, because we do a jump to basically skip everything. Now again, certain things in this game is just barely put out of reach normally. Also the game developers thought, but it really isn't. You can easily skip this. You come here, go over here, kill that guy like that, turn, center the camera. Now you see this thing that goes out into a sharp point. Let me see, like that, right? Like a sharp point if you look just between Spyro's eyebrows. You want to aim like that, and then what you want to do is you want to... This is quite the hard jump. The hardest part is actually getting the hover. You want to do this and hover early. You need to hover earlier than you think, because this thing goes out into a point, and you want to aim for this point right here. Now, You can see that it's a point when you're up close to it, but from far away it just looks like it's completely flat. So you need to keep that in mind, that you need to hover earlier, because this thing sticks out quite a lot. Now, common mistakes when doing this is they jump either from too far away, like this, then you just can't get it, or you get the jump but they hover too late. And another thing that I see a lot of people do, and this is actually great if you're really scared, what you can do is you can see, you can go on the right side here and do it like this. Hold on, come over here and you can do it like this. You somewhat hover in from the right side and bring it to the left like that. In case you should miss it, you would just go down here instead of dying. But yeah, it's quite the specific jump actually. See, I missed that. I hovered too late there. The jump was good and everything, but hover was bad. So from here, what you can do is you can jump over here. Now let's say that you miss it, then there's actually a backup you can do. And the backup looks like this. Let's say in this case I'm gonna miss the hover. Like that. I missed the hover. Oh no, what then? Well, you can do something called a Scorch proxy. I've already explained what it is in my bamboo terrace level, but what you can see here is this guy. You can actually do a Scorch proxy of him. It looks like this. And you get it. And you glide over here or down here. Doesn't really matter what you do. Now let's say you even miss him, or you just don't feel like doing either this jump or this proxy, then that's actually something you can do. Remember that slope jump I taught you how to do in Bamboo Terrace? Well, you can also do it here, up against this wall. So let's say you do it like this and you hug the wall, then you'll get it consistently. I see a lot of people, they somehow miss it. It's really easy to get. You just keep hugging the wall like this. Not at too steep of an angle. From this point on, what I see a lot of people do is they do this. I don't know where they've gotten the idea of going all the way over here. Go up here. Go over here. To reach this spot, where you would normally get from that spot. I see a lot of people do that. That's... You don't do that, that's really slow. You can do something way faster. What you do instead is you come here. Jump here. Do it like this. Jump the normal jumps. And then you can just jump off this thing. Right under here. And over here. From here you jump here. And you're over here. Look. Then you do a simple jump with a hover and you're over here. Way faster than going all the way over there and reach around here now. What we now have to do is we do this. We come over here. We flop. We flame that. We jump over here. Do this. We do a sharp turn. Make sure not to take it hit by him. Do a normal jump up here. Reach that. And then what we do is we talk to this guy. We just stay here. Don't move. Stay there. The reason why we want to stay there is because for some reason teleporting in this game actually takes time. Something to teleport Spyro. For some reason that teleportation time is a thing. It just isn't instantaneous. So what you do instead is we just stay right here, so you don't have to get teleported anywhere. We're already in the spot, and then we can just skip that teleportation time completely. Then here we do the normal extended thing. Alright. Icy Peak. So you come out, you do the camera trick there, and you do this turn. Line yourself up like this. Come here. Slide on the ice. Reach here and into the level. The easiest level to enter in the entire game. There's nothing to it. There's no mechanics, no nothing, just enter it. Now. You do this. Right over here. Do this. Up over here. And do a hover. I will break that down right now. What just happened? This thing is really easy. You just jump on the cannon and you shoot it and blah, blah, blah. Then what I do here is I jump here, do a full jump up these stairs, and this is actually where the jump itself begins. I see a lot of beginners when they have to practice it, they do this and they walk up here and then they attempt it. If you remember in my my introduction video, what I did is I explained how Spyro doesn't get to full speed immediately. It does take him time, and you won't be able to get this jump if you don't do it in one motion. So what I do is I jump up here, and then while jumping, I do essentially what I do is this. and then jump. That's what you want to do, but you still want to jump on the very edge of this thing. So what I do is I come up here like this, and then I do it like this. Now, then you can do this and just hover up there. Now I'm gonna die right there because I did a bad hover. Now let's say that you're not like me and you just die. What you do instead is you come up here and you do whatever to line yourself up. I don't care really what you do to line yourself up, as long as you just do it. And then what you do, you jump and you charge over here. Now you see, yeah, you might just be able to see it, but if you look at Spyro's cheeks, you can see how they go out in like a point, and then there's like a bottom. If you have like the middle, that's the pointy bit of Spyro's cheeks, and the top, that's why it slopes up, and the bottom is why it slopes down. If you look at the bottom, for a brief moment when I pressed R1 to center the camera, what you'll be able to see is you can see how the platform that I'm going to hover onto over there, the absolute lowest platform, how that was actually below Spyro's cheeks. Now that's my indicator of knowing, alright, I can make this no problem. I just need a good hover. I got a good hover. Now, the hardest part definitely is this hover. As you can see, this thing right here, this entire platform is actually not parallel with the jump over there, because at this angle, right? So it's this part here is closer to the wall over there than this part over here. So you want to aim roughly at this spot right here. The common mistakes are that you're either hovering way too late, well, it looks like it's completely flush and square and parallel and whatever, but it actually isn't. So I see a lot of people, what they do is they hover way too early. They do something like this. A good job, everything, yeah, it lined up. They do this. You're not gonna get it. No way you can get it like that. Don't do that, please, thank you. Now instead what you actually want to do is you can do this. To make sure you want to hover a bit earlier than you actually think. And what I remember doing is I felt like, alright, I want to hover now. And then I do it. Another mistake is people hover over here. It's harder to get it over here. You can get it, but hover towards this place, then you'll get it. Alright. This thing here. Getting up these stairs, you remember how I told you about charge gliding? That's just it. Jump and charge glide. There's nothing to it. Just learn the different height of the stairs and then do it. Come around here in a charge. Talk to this guy. And that's Icy Peak for you.
Oh, by the way,
Normally you'd exit here, but I'm gonna talk something, like tell you something real quick. Common mistake whenever you're coming down here and you have to do these stairs. I see a lot of people, what they do is they do this. They try and get the glide as late as possible so they get something like this. Or they bunk. You want to do like a smooth motion, like slide your thumb across square and X. And if you think you can do magic stairs up all of these, good fucking luck, it is not easy. Like, you won't be able to get it at all. Trust me on that one. I've tried to implement magic stairs on all these stairs. You're not gonna get it. And that is slower. Bunking up all these stairs. It's way slower than you should think. So just do whatever you can. Don't do this. Just do this instead. All right. This is easy. All right. All right. Next up is Spike. Now, Spike is actually quite interesting, because this is actually where the first version difference come. Just jump and flop up on this thing. But the first version difference is actually right. 3, 2, 1, right here. Normally there would be a cutscene here. If you're playing on the NTSC 1.0 version, there's no cutscene there for some reason. Yeah. Save 12 seconds or something like that. Alright. There's 3 phases to this fight. There's his magma ball phase, his red phase, and his blue phase. I'll just real quick do a boss fight. Do this fight. Alright, so let me break this boss fight down for you. If you have headphones, I recommend using them, and then you can actually listen through it. If like 3 headphones where the first rock is gonna spawn. If it's in the right earphone, it's to the right of you, right? That's what you want to listen for. If you can't hear it, it's probably far away. So right here, I saw it. It wasn't close enough to me for me to be able to hear it. What I want to do is just charge over here. And I want Spike to keep going in towards the arena before I shoot this at him. I want to avoid his bullets there. For now, at least. Now you see Byrd up there. Now, again, Byrd is actually somewhat like Buzz. If he's on screen, he... You know, the rule there. Now, Byrd is programmed in such a way that if he goes off screen, he then spawns in one of the next power-ups. And in this case, it will be the red power-up. Now, so if I force him off screen by turning the camera away from him and then bring him back on screen, then he'll have the power-up. I'll show you that. So, see? He got the red power-up. And I can utilize that knowledge of mine to just keep turning him off screen and then on screen. I know he's behind me to the right or left. I'll just turn the camera. Yep, he's just right there. And then you can see I can really easily manipulate where the Byrd is. Right here I didn't really have to, it just lined up perfectly and I could just kill Spike like that. So turn the camera away from Byrd and then onto Byrd to manipulate when he'll drop the power up. Make him spawn in the power up. So yeah, let's I can see I go over here. Choose it. Oh, they're right by each other. But it's over there. Bring him off screen to make him spawn it in. Now he's over there, so bring him on screen. Oh, that's bad. What I do now is I hit this. And I look at him. And I know he'll throw it in a bit. He'll throw it right there. And he's over there. And that's the last one. Now, optimally, you actually want to take damage so you're either on green sparks or on no sparks. And this is because of something that's quite a bit further into the run. I'll point it out when it is. It's in Lost Fleet. So there's 4 levels until we actually are in Lost Fleet. There's Bentley's Outpost, there's Frozen Altars, there's Firefly and Fireworks Factory. And then you're in Lost Fleet when you can utilize that. General good idea. If you're new to the game, don't take damage, just avoid it. I don't care, just make sure you come out of this boss fight alive like this. Now on 1.0 you spawn randomly around the arena and you can do something to save your time. You can do a charge jump and then glide towards the vehicle like this. That'll save you time. In certain cases you can do it, in certain other cases you can't, so eh. Alrighty. Bentley's Outpost. Now I'm gonna tell you right here. The first thing is, this is tricky. Coming into entering Bentley's Outpost is really tricky. You come here and you do just go into the water however you like. If you need oh yeah, if you want health, you can get it from over here. Kill those frogs. Otherwise, just come up here. Now another version different is on PAL, so the European version, and on non 1.0 versions in general, you have to do this. That's roughly what you have to do. And then you can get out of bounds. Now, you don't want to get down here. That's just to show you how to get out of bounds. Now since I'm optimal, of course, I am playing on 1.0 version. The optimal version. What I do is I come up here. What I can do is you can just turn around like this and then charge glide like this. You glide through this area, come down here. Now you see that purple floor right here. I actually need to glide here. Let me see this purple floor right here. What you want to do is you see that flask over there to the like if you look at the corner of the pause menu, the top right corner, you see that flask. You want to glide over towards that. But let's see what happens if I go straight towards it. I entered Honey Speedway. Now, this is where the difficult part of this comes in. You need to go around Honey Speedway when entering Bentley's Outpost because they're just right beside each other. Actually, Honey Speedway is in front of Bentley's Outpost. So the way what you want to do is you want to glide around it, and it should look something like this. We don't want to enter honey speed, we want to go around it. So what we can do is we can do this. This is the same thing, always. Come down here. Go out here. Now, what I do is do this and then turn like here. You now entered Bentley's outpost and you want to do this optimally, of course. What you do is, this is what you have to do. Jump, jump, jump. Hit that. This guy you want to kill. Like this. Want to stop here. Now you see that snowball right there. As it is about to pass behind the icicle to the right, sorry, to the left, you want to turn the camera, so you do it like this. Okay, look over here. Want to keep that part out screen, off screen. Then you do one audible step forward like that, turn the camera and walk all the way over here. Then you start walking. Turn the camera like this. And then if you make it correctly, you can hit this. Keep having the camera turned away from the third seal. And you can make it over here. And you can hit the seal. That is quite hard. Now the way this works is again using the rule. If something is off screen, then it doesn't exist. And if it doesn't exist, then it doesn't happen. Right, so we can manipulate the seals in different ways. Now, so let's go over this one more time. Come here. Go up here. Club this. Club this guy. Wait, just as it's about to turn, turn the camera. Go over here. What about follow you? Step forward. Spin it, turn it, over here. Skip that. Go over here. Turn the camera. Hit this guy. Turn over the camera so you're actually looking at these guys. Want him to be on screen. I said before, you wanted him off screen. You don't want him off screen. You want him on screen. Right as you kill the first guy, actually. So like this. And then you just go over here and you can do whatever. I usually do this. Then I wait and talk about follow you. Now here there's actually two things we can do. One thing is we can go over here and we can do a spin jump. Really easy, really simple. Or we can do this. That's the fastest thing to do. For some reason, Bentley is a bit different than Sheila in the way that when jumping and clubbing, you can actually gain a bit of height. So yeah, you can hit it from there and then just jump up through the snow. Now here what you want to do is you want to push this box with two audible thumps. So you let Bentley go thump thump, like two, you know, pushes or whatever. And then you can just move straight left and go on with it. So it'll look like this. As you see, saw Bartholomew. He turned as the second thump came, and you can just do this. Go through the level, push the boxes, and here you can actually save time. Instead of having to jump on each and every one of these, since it's slow, what you can do is you can go over here, and you can land here and do a spin jump up here, and then do this. It's really easy. It's something worth learning, and then you just go over here and talk to Bartholomew. Really not that hard. It yeah, that's it. Just exit the level. All right, frozen altars. Also, a really simple level to enter. You just do this, like that. Really nothing to it. Really easy. Nothing to complain about, really. It's really easy. Now I'm gonna show you the proxy we're gonna do here, because we're gonna do another dead body proxy. We're gonna do it off this mammoth. Do this. That's a dead body proxy. Now, the way I do it is I hit it and I do a full jump, not immediately, but a bit after. As you can see, you got the mammoth here. And I do it like this. But as you might have noticed, there's a difference between these mammoths and the mammoth I killed in the beginning. Because these mammoths I'm heading straight on. The other mammoth I was actually, you know, heading while being blinded, not being able to see. So how do you do this? Well, the way you do it is you do this. You come over here. Well, you skip this, and then you come over here. here, you turn and then hit him and then do it like this. Enough height, you can make it up here. You don't really need that much height. You can also hit it the normal way, like this, and then proxy. But I wouldn't recommend it since it's slower and it's not even that hard, much harder. But you've learned what to do. That is the backup. That was a bad backup. I'll see if I can get it. You come here. You attempt the mammoth proxy the way I've told you. Let's say you don't get it. Really unlucky. You come over here. And you do this. Now, from here what you can do is you can just do this really simple thing here. A bash up here. Now as I said, if you got the mammoth proxy, what you can do is you can also land up here. Jump down here and then not do that. But you can just exit like that. What you can do is you can aim for this small area right here on the outside of the level and then just fly in from that area. Right. If you don't get the mammoth proxy high enough, you just go over there. Just do this. Land over here. Go up here, over here, and in here. Talk to that guy there. You come over here. Jump in here. Melt this thing. What you can do is you can check if this is melted enough. I actually think this is just melted quite right. Like, just as it's supposed to. You can do a grease proxy, like this, and glide over here. Now, I wouldn't recommend going back to see if you can get it to this exact area. Like this exact volume. If you don't have a... If you didn't melt it to this exact point, what you want to do is you just do this. Come up here, jump here, glide here, land here. Jump here, glide here. Land here. And then go for the level like this. So you can come here, right? You could also land here. Come down here, glide in here, and get straight to the end of the level like this. That's essentially this level. There's really nothing to it. Just learn to do the proxy. It's quite easy actually. So yeah, again, you can pause here, you can go up and exit the level, and that's this. This next level is pain to do. So you need to come out of bounds. So you can do the out of bounds if you're on 1.1 or a PAL, you need to go do it over there, or you can just do it like this. As I said, same thing, but you enter the level like this. It's really easy. The portal there is like not that easy to miss. Like it's easy to hit. That's what I meant to say. Now this level is a pain in the ass. It's a really hard proxy you can do here. Now if you're going for a really good time like a 25 or 26, then you need to death abuse over this proxy. I'll tell you what death abuse means in a bit here. We'll do this essentially. And I even missed it. Now death abuse would be something like this. It allows you to attempt the proxy one more time. See, I got it right there. It's such a hard proxy actually. It's such a tiny hitbox and the timing is very specific. You do a small jump. What you do is you do this and you land over here. See that line down here? That I'm parallel to? You want to be on the left side of him. I'm down here and you want to use D-pad the entire time. And turn late. And then want to flame it like that, right? kill the firefly with a flame. So you do this in one motion, turn late, and then you go over and try and do the proxy. Sometimes you have to adjust in the air, and you actually also sometimes just are not allowed to even get an attempt off the firefly because it just won't move. That's just how it is. If you get a good consistency with this, it would be a 1 in 30 that I just moved late, and that's nothing I can do to it. But a good consistency with firefly would be 1 in 3 roughly. So yeah, you come here, you do this, turn, line yourself up, proxy off of it, and land up here. From here, what you can do is you can jump over here, hover up here, and go over there. Now let's say you're not up there, right? You didn't get the firefly proxy, and you're going for like a 27. You can easily get a 27 without firefly proxy. You don't need firefly proxy. Let's say you do this, right? Come here. Oh no, I missed it. Well, I'm just going for 27. What you do is you come over here. Don't take a hit by that guy. Follow this path right here. Get up here. With both of them. Talk to Greta.
It looks like you'll have this.
You can't skip this cutscene for whatever reason. Just not possible. Go over here. And you get shot off. Like this. Come over here. And then go up and talk to Greta. Now, in case you do get Firefly, I actually have... when I first started doing Firefly practice, I remember thinking to myself, oh, well, Greta is not there, so I guess I'll have to wait for her? No. For some reason, you don't have to wait for her at all, actually. You can just completely skip talking to her. So if I just real quick get up top of her, real quick get Firefly. Now, as I said, so when I started doing Firefly proxy, I was like, oh, well, I'll come here. Wait, where's Greta? Well, if I just charge up here, you'll see when I take a step forward, Greta's teleported here. You can also skip it like pressing start and this. So Greta will just teleport to it. Now, that Firefly proxy, it is not easy. It's insanely hard, and it takes a lot of practice. My consistency is 1 in 3. I also think the current world record holder said his consistency at best was like a 1 in... like, what was it? 3 in 5 or something like that? I can't remember. But, it's a hard proxy, and if you're a beginner, you don't need to go for it. I still recommend going for it in case you should get it right. But it's not an end-all be-all thing. You need to get it to PB. No. You only need to get it if you're going for like a 26 or a 25. But, yeah. That just exit the level. Alright, Lost Fleet. Now, Lost Fleet is one of these levels that's an escort mission, because we haven't had a couple of those in a while. You skip that cutscene there by pressing start, by the way. You come here, go in here, but we can actually skip the entirety of the level right off the bat. So we can do a momentum conservation jump and a wall glide in once. So I'll show you what it looks like.
Be careful around here.
Come here, you take damage by this crap. Come over here. Do this. And you're up here now. And what you do is you come over here. Hit by this. You die. And as you might be able to see, Crazy Ed or Escortee is up there. Meaning that if I do this, he'll be at the end of the level. Now, let me break it all down for you. So the reason why we take damage right off the start here is actually because we want to die as fast as possible. And you anyways have to wait for this guy to come here. Now, depending on where you flame with this guy, like if you flame out here, flame in this direction, then he'll go out in this direction. Flame him sharp into the wall, he'll go straight into the wall. We want to flame him so he ends up behind the hole over there, so like this. As you can see, I didn't flame it enough into the wall, so I couldn't actually do it. So, to do it here, I do this, kill this crap, go over here, turn, I take a hit by this guy, I do this, and I glide up here. I actually do glide there. And I'm in here. Now let's say you don't get it. It is quite tricky. Let's say you don't get it. Even though once you know how to do it, again, it's somewhat like a lot of other tricks in this game. Once you know how to do it, you'll rarely miss it. Let's say you come here, right? You jump over here. Get on this cannon. Shoot this wall. Didn't shoot it correctly. Come over here. Jump this gap. Jump this gap. Over here, jump up here, up here. Shoot this thing. Get over here, get up here. Wait here and scratch your nutsack. Then crazy head will come. Now, the hardest part of this is actually because, as I told in Spike, the most optimal is either having no sparks or having green sparks. What you want to do is you want to come over here, build the crab, wait for this guy, and then want to take damage by this guy. Blame him. Get up here. Come up here. Come here. Come over here. Get hit by Zoe and then jump into the lava like this and then die on the acid or whatever it's supposed to be. Now, as you saw me do earlier, I did something called a cannon jump where I jumped off the cannon like this. Hold on. Like this, right? Now you don't have to do that because it is quite tricky. If you don't want to do that, you can do this, turn the thing over here and then do this instead. Stand up here, turn, go up here, jump and talk to it. Now, I'm actually not done explaining the entirety of this level yet because there's one more thing we have to explain. So you know, if I just take damage once, this is Sparks, he can't have any more health, right? Let's look. Take 1 damage, he's at blue sparks, I can take 2 more hits. 1, he's at green sparks. If I take another one, I'm at 0 sparks, and if I take the last one, I'm dead. So, we all understand that it's a simple premise. No sparks, you're dead. But we can actually do something. If I come down here to this part of the boat, and then on the last hit of, as I'm just about to die, I pause. And if I exit the level, something interesting will happen. I'll enter something called zombie mode. Now zombie mode is basically the game thinking that I'm at -0, like a -1 life. So, and what this does, it removes all triggers. Nothing works, like nothing can hit me, and no triggers like swim trigger and all this doesn't work for me. It's essentially the same as doing this. As you can see, no trigger hit me because I'm at -1, therefore I am dead. Now, we do this down here and we take damage here. Do a pause buffer here and we take damage on the same, not the same frame, but rough. It's I don't know if it's frame perfect. I don't think it is because it's so easy. It's quite easy, just timing. And we exit the level. We'll get this cutscene, but we'll be able to do something really cool actually. As you can see, I can't pause, I can't do select, I can only swim up, and nothing affects me. Well, you can still die if you hit the fire over there, but nothing will hit you. And I will go into the next level in the next video. Right, so we just came out of Lost Fleet. So what we want to do is we want to go over here, up along this wall here, down here, go down here. Now you see this thing down here, this little crevice or whatever you want to call it here, corner, go onto this, and you see this. So the way I look here is you see where the edge of like the bottom this thing is, right? That how to show it, this thing over there, the gate or whatever it's supposed to be. I aim just a tiny bit above that, like this, and then I swim, and then I'll enter the portal. The portal is a bit lower than you should think, but yeah. Now, Charm the Rich. Now, as I said before, I can't pause, even if I want to. Like, you can see, I'm pausing all I learned. I can't do it. I can't pick up sparks, but I can still die. Now, if you're a beginner, what you actually want to is you can charge off there and just die, and then you'll get sparks back and have some health. But what you want to do, if you're on a higher level, is you can see this cat wizard here. You we want to proxy off him. Now, and the way you do this is you see him do this, and as he, after his attack, you do this. Walk into him like this, and then keep walking, and then you want to flame him. But do this, and then you get the proxy like that. You still have to do the twitch. Every proxy requires the twitch, but this one is really easy actually. And just to prove that we can't pick up health, nothing. Now if I die, I have sparks. I can pause again.
Spyro,
Like this. Now come over here. This wizard is like proxying off this guy is kind of weird. You want to like walk in and then flame and do it like this. It's kind of weird timing. If you just look at the D-pad, I guess you can figure out the inputs. It's nothing like any other thing. You don't have to charge all the time. But essentially what I do is I do this. This is what I do. Those inputs right here. You can kill this guy, and you can also proxy off of him, but that's not what you want to do. Let's say you missed the first cat wizard proxy. What you can then do is you can do the exact same thing off this guy. I missed it. You could attempt it off this guy if you want to. You don't have to, but yeah, you can glide over here. This. Now, if you do get the cat wizard first try, there's two things you can do. If it's a high one, you can land on the gate over here, or you can land over here. By the gate, I mean the wall up here. You can land up here. Right, as you can see, you can easily be up here. Now, if you kill that guy, you'll proceed with the level. But actually, I'll show you something real quick. Because there's a backup that requires that you actually are not in zombie mode. So, if you're a beginner, you can just charge right off the edge here and just die and get sparks back. A good indicator is you're not in zombie mode if you got sparks. And you're in normal living mode. So let's say you miss this guy, the proxy. Missed the backup proxy here. I should actually show this. The backup proxy should go over here. And then you glide through over here. Let's say you even miss that proxy. What you do then is you come over here. And for some reason, you see that wall right there? That's not solid, so I can just glide through it like this. Then what I can do is I can land over here. And then this is on a timer, so you have to do it quite fast, but it looks something like this. Come up the ladder, because it's faster. Come down here. You can attempt a proxy off this guy if you want to. Otherwise, what you do is you just hit bash this thing like this. Jump and shoot this guy over here. Jump over here. Land in here. Then what you can do is you can do one of these upwards things to hit the guy that's up there. Now, if you don't get it, or you don't make it on time or something, what you can do is you can get in here and just flame him. Now, if you're in zombie mode, you cannot enter this whirlwind. That is just simply not happening. You won't be able to enter it, and it just won't work. So make sure that if you're in zombie mode, that the way you come and kill him is something like this. You also have to charge over the little gap there at the bridge. For some reason now, exiting this level is quite weird, because right after you've collected the egg, you can actually pause and exit. There's a cutscene afterwards. I'll just show it real quick. This cutscene, and you can't skip it, so it's like useless. But you can pause before you can exit before this cutscene. So you want to pause and exit right here. Right, so coming out of Charmed Ridge, you might have noticed right now, it doesn't have any sparks right now. I don't have any sparks right now. So, it might be dangerous now. We have to go into a boss right now. So it can be really dangerous to go in there since it's quite easy to take damage. Now you see that frog that's coming towards me right there. Normally what we'll actually do is quite lined up with, we can swim here. Not like this, but swim here. And, you know, kill it and then get green sparks like that. Now, and then go up there. That's what I would normally do. Now let's say you're a beginner and you're a bit more, you're not as used to dodging attacks and Scorch. What you want to do is you can just go up here and collect, you know, full sparks real quick. Then move over here. And then, you know, this. Alright, so coming into Scorch, this is actually going to be a really RNG heavy. You can actually lose like a minute just purely to RNG here. So yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk over here towards Bentley. Now Scorch can actually do two different types of attacks. He can do when he throws these eggs out, like these ones, and then an enemy comes out. Or he can throw these fireballs. Now, that's one RNG part. Another thing is, as you can see, those rockets. Now I jumped in front of Bentley to get it as soon as it would spawn. Now in this case I was lucky, I actually got red rockets. Now, you can also get green rockets, and the difference between red and green rockets is that red rockets deal just as much damage as green rockets, but they don't home. But you have 50 of them, so you can do this. Spam him. Right, and here he does his fireball attack. I can just, you know, do this. There's another fireball attack. I want to just pin him down like this. Now, interestingly enough, he just threw down this little guy here. Now, the way you can dodge his attack is just by doing this, jumping and walk away from him. Right, in this case, he actually spawned Buzz. Now, a cool thing you can do here with Buzz is you can do this. Just walk into him, right? And he'll spawn. And he won't be able to kick you immediately, and you can really easily, if Bentley weren't there, he would have gone in. Hit him into the lava. If you just walk in towards Buzz, if Buzz is spawned, then you can easily, you know, kill him. Right, so in this case, Scorch does fireballs there. And I got green rockets. Now, fireballs doesn't equal green rockets. It can just happen, whatever. I'm just gonna... That's not what you want to do. I wanted to hit him right there when I did it. I was lucky. I got red rockets right now. I'm just gonna, you know, kill him with them. I want to just burst fire him like this. It's the best thing you can do. Now these are hopefully gonna be... Alright, they're crabs. Doesn't matter. Right, these TNT guys are actually the same as the little runner guy. You can just do this. Really simple. Scorch is all about execution, actually. And there's not really anything to him. Like, on the last phase, you can, if you have a lot of these, you can just spam him like this. He's actually quite an easy boss. Now, you're probably going to lose a lot of time to random RNG. And that's just how it is. So, it's a boss you should actually practice, because there's a bit of execution with the timing of the rockets. Like, you can't miss him just because the Scorch hits bugs is kind of weird. Especially when he throws up this wall. So yeah, it's something you want to practice. Alright, now, you might have noticed that I've called this little video here for Helmet Proxy. This is because it's actually, I feel like it's entirety its own part, because it's such an essential part of the run. A lot of people actually get discouraged from doing the run because of this proxy. Alright, so let's say you're in low sparks here, then you can kill this lizard here. Well, kill that lizard. And then what you do is you can come here. Let's say you're still on low sparks, what you can do is you can kill that lizard right there. But instead of killing that, I would actually recommend, if you are in normal sparks, just come here and do this. Glide here and jump over here. Kill that lizard right there. Alright. I'm just gonna make this a lot easier on myself and kill this lizard here, because he can actually mess it up. Now, if I go in here real quick, you can notice I only have 19 eggs and I need 100 to enter this level right here. And there's no way I can just walk in here from like this angle or anything. So as I told in Cloud Spires, actually all the way back then, loading zones, certain loading zones bleed, and it's area loading zones that bleed, like mini games. And for some reason, the devs decided to make this a like the Sorceress loading like screen. It's like it was decided to make the Sorceress entrance like a mini game, like a mini game entrance. But if you come over to this helmet, right, and we're gonna go into the proxy itself, you can see there's this little small part down here. Now we're actually gonna do a squeeze proxy, and as you can see, if I just walk in here, sometimes if you do certain things like just randomly move around, you might be able to see I can just get a random proxy. Now this wouldn't be a, like, if I can get one like that, right? That's a small proxy. Now we can do this. And then we're over here. The loading zone is right there. So let's break this down, because it's actually a really weird proxy, because it's timing based and a bit position based. Now you want to come here and you see this small thing right here. Now notice as I'm walking in here, I get pushed back. This is my setup, by the way. If I walk in, I get pushed back just a bit, like by itself, like really slowly. Now that's my indicator of me being correctly positioned. That's whenever I walk in and I'm getting pushed back a bit. This will happen almost immediately. Now you see where the your helmet right there touches the ground, and the helmet and the ground meets. What I do is I aim a bit like close to that, and then I do a walk forward like this, and then I go for it. Maybe a little bit more inwards like this actually. Alright, and then my inputs that I do is I do it to only tap square. I actually do this. As you can see, I did get a shot there backwards. Then what I do is I hold down L2 like this, and I do, as I'm tapping square, I do upright on the D-pad, so I do this. Right? Now, when sliding down this mountain, like the mountainside right here, what you want to do is slowly, as you reach this point right here, you see how it's sloping outwards just a bit? How you come to a to like this position right here. If I just real quick do this, like that position right there, you see how that entire mountain thing is coming out from like a curve, and then it goes out. From here, what you want to do is again slowly, but actually quite fast at the same time, at roughly at this speed here. Look at the D-pad. You want to come from this position, and then rotate your fingers to this position, from up right to down left. Right, but you don't want to do it like this, because if you do it like this, this will happen. Right, I actually got something there that could have been used for something else, but you don't want to do that. As you can see, if I come from this position right here, and I do it like this, and I instantly do it, you'll see he does this really sharp turn. That's actually because he's trying to do this. And we actually don't want him to do this. We want him to do like this, essentially walk in a very straight motion. And because we have backwards momentum, like it's actually a lot of backwards momentum, because I'm actually holding straight up, right? Like this. So I'm actually cancelling out a bit of the momentum as I'm doing it. But what we want to do then is you want to come from this position. And what you want to get good at is you want to be able to do this consistently. Slide along this. Like that, essentially. As long as you can hit that part of the mountain that I described earlier. As long as you can hit this part consistently, come sliding like this along it, then it's fine. As long as you can make it past this by just holding upright, then you're excellent, a good track. Right, so you come here, you do square, and then you do this. That I know is actually a good, like, I know that would have worked, right? Then what I do is I come from, you know, the position we have done upright, and then I do up left. So you saw how, instead of going over towards this direction over here, what I actually did was I curved it. So as I was hitting this position, instead of doing a complete like 360 and landing over here, what I actually did was I slided from this position towards this position. And if I'm coming here, and if I'm doing down right, look what will happen to Spyro's back. It's turned towards this wall. Now see this breakable wall? You want to be doing down right into this part of the wall, like from here to here roughly. So, right, so you come from this position right here, you've set it up, right? You do the thing and you do the inputs like that. Now, you might be noticing that I'm doing it like this actually, like it's somewhat slow, but I'm making sure that I'm pressing all the way through. Now, the most important thing is actually that you time it correctly. So you come here and you do it like that. Right, so another thing where a lot of people actually mess up is they actually don't know that you get launched out with you can get proxies with different speeds. This is because for some reason, you know, as I explained earlier, well, actually all the way back, depending on how immersed you are in the hitbox, the bit of a proxy you'll get. So in this case here, as I'm, you know, positioned like this, and I position it correctly, and I'm doing it like this, as you can see, I have a lot of speed. And that's just how it is. Now, I'd say the most important thing about this proxy is definitely being able to rotate along the wall like that. You need to be able to react with the different speeds of the proxy, essentially. So let's see, like here. Yeah, that's a good one, really good one. A good indicator is if you can actually make it up here, then you've done the inputs correctly. Another thing I actually see a lot of people do. So common mistakes with the proxy is that I see a lot of people, they come in here, they might have done it aligned correctly, and then they do this. They attempt it like that. You don't want to be aiming too far outwards, and you definitely also don't want to be aiming too far inwards. If I do like this, you won't be able to get it. So you want to do it like this, but you also don't want to speed it in like that. So you also want to make it like a good idea is actually to making it slide like past it and then turn it in. Not like that, that was exaggerated. But yeah, like essentially just do this. Right. Slowly. Look at the timing of the D-pad, and then you need to get a feel for it. Now, if you get a proxy that's not high enough to go straight all the way over there, what you can do is that you can land here. And then there's two things. The fastest way is, you see this little triangle down here? This entire huge ass triangle. What you can do is you can come from here, and then by doing a later jump than you think, you need to jump way later than you know, because you can actually, up here, as you can see, you can stand for a little split second up there. We want to utilize that, so we want to do it as late as possible. So what I do is I do it like this, a wall glide, and then land over here. You don't want to do it like that much of a wall glide. But if that scares you and you're not that good at it, you see this. So from down here, what you can do is you can jump up here, go all the way up into this peak of this triangle, turn around, then aim like this and do this, essentially. Right? From here, you can do this, land over here, and then jump into that portal right there. Now, a lot of people, what they do is they hesitate. Like, it's really hard to miss this. It's right there. But let's actually do it from all the way back. And let's see if I can get a good proxy so I can show you what to do in one motion if you get it right away. I want to kill this guy here because he can actually mess up your proxy a bit. So if you're a beginner, kill this guy. Definitely worth it. Line yourself up, tap square, and do the inputs correctly. Get a massive one, and fly over here. Now, as said, the portal is right there. So what I do is I just do this, and I've entered the level. And now it's upcoming Sorceress. Alright, now, this is actually quite a complicated level. A lot of people might call it RNG, but there's a few RNG elements, and we can actually completely skip some of the RNG by using different manipulations for different setups. I couldn't do this level justice the same way that Jeremy Thompson had. He basically broke through with the RNG. He said, alright, this is a very RNG dependent level. So what he did is he actually found some setups that basically removes all RNG. He found some patterns and stuff like that. He has a tutorial. It's a written tutorial, but it's so in-depth. It's such a great work. Definitely go read that instead of, like, if you don't understand what I'm saying here, it's a very special boss, and it's quite hard because you need to look at patterns in this very specific boss. It's really the only boss where there is any patterns you can look at, and you need to react to different situations out of patterns. But the idea is there's three phases. There's the cannon phase, the tank phase, and the UFO phase. We want to skip the UFO phase, and we can do this by just doing something called UFO skip. It's dependent on different factors. I'll get to it later, but let's start with the cannon phase, the first phase. You're essentially in the cannon phase with the first 3 hits of the sorceress. She has 12 health, right? And the first 3 hits is cannon phase, the next 3 is tank phase, and then the last 6 is UFO phase. Now, there's 5 cannons that can spawn. Off the bat, there's 5 cannons that can spawn, and they can spawn in different variations of different combinations, you know. So we're gonna call them Cannon A, Cannon B, Cannon C, and Cannon D. Now, in the beginning, the only 3 cannons that can drop as the first cannon, and this makes it a lot easier, is Cannon C, Cannon D, and Cannon E. Now, how do you know which cannon is which? Well, by coming here, jumping up here, going out here, and you see how the wall there, like the spike on the wall, and the sun, I guess it is, somewhat lines up on the edge, right? This is where I stand to look at it. Now, the cannon over there is cannon A. The cannon that would be over there is cannon B. And the cannon up there is cannon C. The cannon that could be above me, which it, by the way, is above me right there, is cannon D. And over there is cannon E. So, the cannon right there, cannon A, cannon over there, cannon B, the cannon to my right is cannon C, the cannon above me is cannon D, and the cannon that could be to my left is cannon E. Now, the rule is that priority number 1, if cannon D spawns, then it's always cannon D that drops as the first cannon. If cannon D doesn't spawn, then it's always cannon C, and at the end it's cannon E. And you're most likely to get cannon D and cannon C. There's only a 10% chance that cannon E will drop. Now, in this case, cannon D dropped. So for this one, there's actually certain things. Like there's a hidden pattern, so we can actually predict where she's going to move. What you do here is you come from here, go over here, land here, and I see cannon A, cannon E, and cannon C, and cannon C hasn't spawned. By that I actually know that cannon D is gonna spawn, so I know that I can just jump forward from here, just avoid her attacks. And as you know, right, so she's probably going to something. The Sorceress can do 3 different attacks. She can do her blue attack, her fireball attack, which is the red attack, and she can do charging at you. If she charges at you, it's a good idea to wait for her to go all the way back to the center, turn at you, and then you can jump on. Now that she actually did move just before going onto the cannon, so her pattern is actually not the same. Alright, so what you can do is you can come over here, jump out here, and then walk to the spot. As always, I see cannon A right there. I see no cannon E. I see no cannon B, and I see a cannon C. By knowing that cannon B and E is not on the field right now, I can tell you that cannon D is going to drop. And I predict that cannon D is going to drop. That's my prediction. I can tell you it's going to be 100% correct. So just jump onto it, and then jump on the cannon. I want to shoot all the way up nearly. I don't want the cannon to be fully extended, but up and then a bit to the right. And then I want to start shooting like this. And then I want to tap in, like up with the cannon to bring it down a bit. And as you could see, I predicted where she was going to hit. So I can see here cannon A, cannon E, and cannon C has spawned. So I can move over to cannon C. And with cannon C dropping, I know that I have to wait for Agent 9 to go over there and then come back. And I can tell you that right here, cannon C is going to drop. And as you saw, cannon C dropped. Now with cannon C, it also got its own attack pattern. It wants to shoot halfway. You want to shoot like not all the way over to the edge, but halfway. And then what you want to do is you want to move the cannon a bit left, and then take it down so it shoots a bit shorter. So it should look something like this. As you can see, you can easily get some hits in on her. Right, so in this case, I see that A has spawned, B has also spawned, and cannon E has spawned. So I know that I'm gonna move over here to cannon E. Now cannon E is actually the slowest cannon because it just wastes time for Agent 9. He has to come all the way over here. Now the hit pattern for cannon A is quite weird because he can actually do one of 2. Now what I always do is I do this. Just jump on the cannon and do the same as cannon C. She moves into that M pattern. Now I missed her. I have to adapt, and I'm gonna adapt like this. Again, if you want a better explanation, go ahead and check out Jeremy Thompson's video. Oh, Jeremy Thompson's tutorial. Alright, and with that, we're actually gonna go into phase 2. Now phase 2, there's 4 different possibilities. We either want 2 different things we can get. We get 2 cannon hits or 3 cannon hits. It doesn't really matter which one we get, but with each tank or with each cannon hit comes a next pattern. And what we want to do is we want to finish phase 2, so that's getting her down to 6 health by hitting her at last on a tank. So if we get 2 tanks, if we get 2 hits and we get a tank, then we need to do 4 hits with that tank, and that has an attached pattern. If we get 2 hits and a cannon, we want to do 3 cannon hits with a total of 5. Wait till we get another tank and then hit her with the tank. We get 3 hits with the cannon and the cannon drops again. Then we want to get 2 hits with the cannon and then wait for a tank to spawn and get the last hit with that. If we get 3 hits with a cannon and then we get a tank, we want to do 3 total hits with the tank. Let's see which one we get right here. So I do the consistency here of looking. I can tell you that cannon E, cannon C, and no cannon A and B, so therefore no cannon D has spawned. By using the rule, I can tell you that it's going to be cannon D. So look there, go over here. Now, we can actually do something called hesitation strat. If Sorceress throws down her blue attack, or just as she's about to throw her blue attack, you want to jump onto the cannon. So as she's swinging her scepter, you can actually look at the color of the energy around the scepter to tell if it's a blue attack or a red attack. I can tell you, this is a blue attack. She'll do her blue attack, and I can just get on the tank, do the attach attack pattern. Sometimes it can be a good idea to jump off the vehicle you're on because it's actually stopper. Now I did 2 hits there. Then what I do is I look around. I notice there's a tank up there. And I notice there's... Where's the last tank? The last tank is not within my view right now. So I guess the tank is over towards me right now. Now, what we have to learn is we have to learn there's something called adjacent tanks. That is, if 2 tanks are side by side each other, like pretty close. Then what we want to do is we want to do a quicker hit. Now in this case I have to do 3 cannon hits. So I do 1, that's shooting over here, and I shoot her, and as I'm about to shoot her there. Now this is not non-adjacent tanks, which means I can take the last hit here with the Sorceress pretty slowly. So I go over here, let her charge up her attack, shoot her, jump off, and then run over towards this tank. And what you might notice is, normally if you played this game casually, you'll notice I should have gotten a UFO, but instead, I get a tank. The tank is so easy to kill her with. Now, I see cannon E, I see cannon B, and I see no A and C, so I'm gonna wait here, or B and C. I see no cannon B and I see no cannon C, so I know it's gonna be cannon D. So I go where cannon D is gonna drop. I jump on towards the cannon, do the attached attack pattern. And I got 3 hits. And let's see which pattern I get. Right, I actually got a tank in this case. Now, this is kind of tricky, and again, I will link down in the description Jeremy Thompson's tutorial to this because it's going to be way better than this. So, what you're going to do here is, the way I do this, I have actually changed it a bit from what Jeremy Thompson does. Now, I'd recommend doing what Jeremy Thompson does because it's way easier. But what I do here is, wait for him to throw down the tank. So I let him do this. I hit her like right as she's about to turn. Shoot again. She curves in on it. And then I back up all the way back. I want to be as far away from her as I possibly can. I wait for her to stand still. And then I shoot and jump. And I go over. And as you saw, I got the tank. The reason why I jumped there is because while in the air, if I shoot and then jump off, I actually haven't hit her yet. What 89 is going to do is he's going to think, oh right, you haven't hit her like you haven't done phase 2. You haven't finished phase 2 yet. So I'm going to give you another tank, but I'm actually hitting her as he's shooting the tank down. And then I got the tank and I can, you know, kill her. Alright, so I come over here and I wait. I see cannon A, B, I see cannon A, C, and not B and E. So now it's gonna be cannon D. So wait. I'm gonna go on to cannon D. I'm gonna jump on. I'm gonna do the attached attack pattern. I got 3 hits. Then what I do is start looking for tanks. I see there's one up there. And I see there's one over there. And in this case, I got a tank. I got a cannon actually. What I'm gonna do is look at the tanks one more time, and I see then they are actually adjacent tanks. This means I have to do something. I have to get the last hit with the tank there quickly, and then jump off. And I'll show you what that looks like when I get to that. But right here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna hit him twice, go over here, wait for her to get in on there, and hit her immediately like this, and go over towards the tank, and I get the drop. Alright, so I come over here, and I wait. So seeing that cannon A and B hasn't spawned, so now therefore it's gonna be cannon D, because then I know cannon C and E has spawned. And I know cannon D has priority number 1, so I'm just gonna wait right here. And I wait for her to do that, because why not? Oh, I'm bad right now. But I still got 2 hits. Now in this case, actually I'm gonna get a tank. And what you want to do is, at the end here, you want to do the last hit with the tank a half arena distance. It's going to look something like this, and again, Jeremy is going to explain this way better than I am ever going to be able to. So what you do is you go over here, you wait for the tank to drop, and you jump on. Then what I do is, she moves in this J pattern, so what I do is I shoot her as she's about to do the hook in, like that, and then I hit her and start backing up, shoot a bit to the left. And what I do here is I always wait a bit for her to go about like half the arena away from me. In this case, I'm gonna shoot right there, jump off, and go over here. And I hit her, and I got the drop. You can do it faster, and it would be better. Oh, but instead, I get a tank. And a tank is way better, because what we can do is we can do this. If I can get some hits in on her. And now she's actually dead. The tank is so easy to kill her with now. Let's say that you do something stupid like this. And you're so unlucky. And you're like, oh no, I'm not gonna get a tank drop. What then? Well, in this case, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get a UFO. Now, UFOs are slow because you can at max get 2 hits. And it's gonna be fairly spread apart, and it's slow, and it's somewhat hard to maneuver. So what I do is I get on top of the UFO. And then because you want to be level with her, I do a little tap downwards, and then I only use left and right D-pads. And then I start shooting her like this. Now a double hit is where you hit her twice in a row, so it should look something like this. It's a single hit. Let's see if I can get a double hit. 1, 2. That's a double hit. You want to get as many of those as you can. And then time is as you hit her right there. So you've just learned how to do Spyro 3 any percent. To put this fight real quick, what you actually want to do is, I would definitely recommend reading Jeremy's tutorial. It's down in the description of the YouTube video. And both his second phase and his first phase tutorial is down in the description right now. So I definitely recommend go check them out, because this fight is really hard to explain. And otherwise then I would just wish you good luck and have fun with running this game.